from the Senior Law Day Collaborative. My name is Elena Falcone. I am the Director of Outreach Programming for the Westchester Library System. I'm also a co-chair of the Senior Law Day Collaborative. I have that role along with Sarah Steckler of Keen & Bean and Melinda Bellis of Legal Services of Hudson Valley. Also here today and supporting our program is Bruce Siegel of Marketing Sense. He's acting as our marketing consultant for the Senior Law Day Collaborative. You're here today because you want to hear an exciting program called Scammers Follow the Headlines, What to Know and What to Beware. Our presenter today is Cassandra Walker. She's the Associate Director of Legislative Affairs from the Office of the New York State Attorney General. And Cassandra, I can just say, I think this is one of the most exciting topics that we could be presenting right now, because I, as a librarian and as an information person, am just astonished at what's going on. There will be an opportunity for Q&A during this program that I hope you will take advantage of. You can ask your questions by using the Q&A feature of Zoom. We'll do our best to answer all the questions during the course of the event, and any we don't get to, fear not, we'll follow up afterwards by email. And I mentioned that Q&A feature. If you're less familiar with Zoom, it's a little icon at the bottom of your screen that says Q&A. When you use that feature, we'll know your name unless you choose to ask anonymously, in which case we won't be able to get back to you after the program. So just keep that in mind. Before we start the program, I want to tell you a little bit about the Senior Law Day Collaborative. The collaborative is composed of more than 150 professionals who are all eager to bring authoritative information on legal, financial, and health topics to our county's older adults, especially in these challenging times. To that end, in lieu of our many planned programs at area libraries and other venues, we've been providing webinars almost weekly since the beginning of April. Have you missed a webinar? Or do you have a legal or financial question? Our program's website, seniorlawday.info, includes several features that actually may be of use right now. And using the wonders of Zoom, I'm going to share my screen to show you what some of that is. So we have, to make sure I got the right page, you should see my screen. It says seniorlawday.info is our website. And just moving through the menu at the top, I want to call out a few things that I think could be particularly useful now. We do an annual publication called the Elder Law Q&A, and that Elder Law Q&A covers an array of topics in which our volunteer professionals are expert. And you can go here for guidance on everything from healthcare planning to taxes and wills and elder reviews. There are all forms and contacts loaded in here. The publication is available in English and Spanish, and again is updated annually. It is available in full text as a PDF right now. We cover an array of program topics. If you want to get a sense of what those topics are, you can go to our program topics page and you'll see the descriptions, as well as videos from prior programs. And wherever we can, we have the presentation materials that were shared during those programs. Going back up to the top menu, you'll also see that we have the entire roster of the 2020 webinars. So if you missed one, believe me, you can just come right in here and you've got a couple of hours of valuable viewing. Topics that cover everything from Medicaid redesign to how to buy or sell a house during the COVID-19 crisis, to financial issues and changes in the laws. So this is really an important site to go to. And I think I'm going to make myself dizzy by moving too quickly through this page. Sorry about that. There's also a calendar of events. We normally have a number of robust full-day programs where we offer workshops and counseling. In this case, we're going to a webinar. And if you go to the calendar, you'll see that we have a number of events coming up in Spanish. You can look for more. We also have our substitute full-day event, the Yonkers Will Senior Law Day. And I'll tell you a little bit more about that. I'll go to the homepage. Right on our homepage, we are trying to make sure that you are aware that on June 1st, co-hosted by the Yonkers Public Library and supported by the Yonkers City, we are going to be providing about 2 hours of solid Senior Law Day content. And click here for details gets you up to our flyer. We're going to be broadcasting this content on Facebook Live and on 2 of the local television channels in Yonkers. So Cablevision's channel 78 and Verizon Fios channel 39. You can also go to the Yonkers Public Access TV website and click to participate in that way. We will be able to provide phone access as well. If you know someone who is unable to connect via internet or is unable, for some reason, is unable to get access to that TV channel, they can also just dial in and listen. And we're excited to provide these new ways of access for this program. What you'll be getting are 6 different topics in which we're going to run through sort of the top 3 things you need to know. So today you're going to get more than the top 3 in terms of scammers follow the headlines, but we really want to get the word out about all of these areas. So with that, I want to also then close with showing you a key feature of our website. So I brought you here, seniorlawday.info, because of this Ask Us button. So we're always here to answer questions on this array of legal, financial, and health topics. All you need to do is click on this button and you can send us an email. Just tell us your name and how to get in touch with you, and maybe a few of the details of your question, and someone will get back to you probably in less than 2 business days, but we will answer all questions that are asked and provide some guidance. So keep that in mind. If questions pop up after today, you will be able to continue to ask them by simply coming to seniorlawday.info. With that, let me turn this over to Cassandra Walker. She's now going to share her screen. She's got some slides to show us. And reminder, please use the Q&A. Please know that while you're on mute, you still have a voice, and we'll pause during the presentation as questions come in.
So I will start while I work this out. So my name is Cassandra Walker. I am with the New York State Attorney General's office. I am here to talk to you about scams. We typically call this our Smart Seniors presentation, but we have had to adjust to this new world, as a lot of people have. And now there are so many COVID-related scams that we can have an entire presentation on it. So I'm excited to get into this information and to share this with everyone. I want to thank the Senior Law Day Collaborative for the warm welcome and for having me here, and for the important work you're doing under these extraordinary circumstances. You know, it's not easy to just jump into webinars the way you guys have done, and it's really impressive, and it's appreciated because all of the information you share is just so vitally important. What I am going to kind of start with is just to remind everyone that this is the perfect storm for someone to be scammed, right? People are home, they are isolated, they are maybe answering the phone more than they usually would, maybe picking up numbers that aren't saved in your phone because you've been in touch with old friends and family members. So we're kind of setting ourselves up for victimization, right? So we want to tell you the same things we always tell you. If you don't know the number, don't answer it. Hard to do, I realize, hard to do, especially in these circumstances when any human contact is good right now. But really important just to be vigilant. If it is someone who needs to get in touch with you, they will leave a voicemail. Make sure your voicemail is working or your answering machine is working, so that important people or people that need to reach you can always leave a message. That way you're not falling victim to someone who is just calling random numbers and trying to get your personal information. So yeah, this is a time when people are scared. People are worrying about everything from their jobs to their health, to their families, their neighbors, their friends. We're worried about everything. The worries coming at us from all angles. So we're vulnerable. We are vulnerable to maybe someone who has the cure, or they have a great deal where you can save all this money and it's really going to lift you out of this pandemic. we have to be more vigilant than ever, right? Um, Scammers and bad actors, and as the Attorney General calls them, bottom feeders, they are going to do everything they can think of to separate you from your money. And the information we're going to give you today hopefully will prevent that from happening. So there are really four kind of main areas where we have seen the most fraud recently and during this pandemic. The first, and I'll get into all of these in detail going forward, but just a quick overview. Medical products that claim to treat or cure the coronavirus, vaccines, right? These things do not exist yet, and that will always be a scam attempt. Price gouging, you know, a 12 pack of toilet paper for $60, something, you know, unconscionable, something that sticks out as abnormal in the price of everyday goods. And in this category, I'll also call them the usual suspects, right? So the scams we always see, the IRS scam, the grandparent scam, the Microsoft repair scam, the driveway paving scam, right? All of these things that we see all the time, they've all taken on a new twist. So we'll talk about all the different ways that those are kind of coming back with a new image, trying to scam everybody. Charitable donations, right? People are really suffering right now. You know, a lot of people are in a really bad way, and if you have the ability to give, that is wonderful, and that is always appreciated, of course, and doing good in the world. But we are going to help you make sure that that money is going to where you intended to go, for the purposes you intended to be used for. And then the last topic I'm going to touch on is coronavirus-related scams, investment scams. Now, this can be something with stocks, stocks and bonds. The stock market is all over the place, buy and sell, people trying to get you to make those types of purchases or sales. You're not going to want to do that without speaking to a professional. And then products, right? You lost your job, you want to work from home, you're going to invest in, the next big fad, the next big diet shake, and all of a sudden you've got a garage full of product and no one to buy it, and you've lost all this money, right? So this is another thing that we are just kind of sitting ducks for at this moment. So to get into some more detail, right? Medical scams. These are the worst, right? People are scared. People are sick. People are, may have seen their loved ones pass away or have lost friends and have lost colleagues. This is, a really, really serious situation. And who doesn't want, to get better or to have the cure or to be able to be helpful in that way to their fellow, humans. There is no treatment, there is no cure outside of what would happen to you in a hospital or in a doctor's office. You are not going to buy the cure for coronavirus online. You're not going to get an email having you buy the coronavirus vaccine. These things do not exist. There are a lot of efforts and money and brain power being put into making those things happen. But right now, these are many, many months away. And the best thing to do to, treat or cure or prevent is washing your hands, social distancing, staying home when you're sick, all of the things that we've been told to do for the last few months, right? So really just aside from cures, testing, right? People want to know if they have coronavirus or if they've had coronavirus, and testing shortages have made that really difficult for a long time and in a lot of places. I would say that New York is doing a pretty good job of having availability of tests for the most part. But someone will not walk up to you and offer to test you for coronavirus. You will not get an email saying, give me $500 and I'll send you a coronavirus test kit. None of those things exist. You should not put your money into any of those things. If you are in need of a test, or in some places now, if you want a test, those options are there. You go directly to that source, to the drive-through, to the Rite Aids that have them set up around the state. You reach out, you initiate that contact, and you can go and get tested. You don't just don't take those solicitations as fact, and don't follow any of those. It's funny that one of our very first involvements, action that we had to take during this pandemic was televangelist Jim Baker was marketing his silver solution as the cure for coronavirus, also the cure for HIV and AIDS and autism and cancer and anything that ails you. So that was our first cease and desist letter for someone marketing this type of fake coronavirus treatment. Feels like it was a million years ago, and we've sent thousands since to bad actors doing the same thing. Now, some of the, in addition to medical scams, I mean, this is just one little section of what's happening, right? Here's the big stuff. Everyone is going to get a $1,200 stimulus payment, or whatever your amount is based on children or spouse or income. Those payments require you to do nothing. You do not need to hire someone to apply for it. You don't need any help receiving it. If you filed your taxes in 2018 or in 2019, the bank account you used for your direct deposit, that's where your money's going to go. If you don't have tax liability, aren't required to file taxes, if you no longer use that bank account, if you had instead opted to receive a paper check, there are ways for you to receive your stimulus payment that do not require anyone to step in and to help you. You can go to the IRS website, you can call the IRS, and they will take you through the process. There's an online form you can fill out, and I'm sure over the phone they can help you just as well. But someone sending you an email, someone calling you, someone texting you saying, hey, I've got your stimulus payment, I can give it to you right now, you don't have to wait, I just need $200 first. None of that is true. None of that is necessary. Do not waste your money on anything of that sort. Now it's almost like all of the forces are working against us in regards to this. So the Paycheck Protection Program, right, for small businesses, when that was released, so the first round was released and they opened up the application process, the budget director, Steve Mnuchin, he announced that you could go to SBA.com and you could fill out your application there. What the huge mistake was right there was that the site is SBA.gov. But SBA.com was there and they were ready and willing and able to accept all of your information for you, and I'm sure for nefarious purposes. Even just something so simple, and coming from authority, you wouldn't maybe even think to check it. Always check, always be sure. Always make sure that you're reading the fine print, because while those people running SBA.com are probably not going to do anything helpful for you, they do have disclaimers on their page that this is not the government website. They're very small, but they are there. So just be extremely vigilant, even things coming from the government. So unless you are expecting correspondence from the government, you're not going to get it. For example, if you want an email when your New York State tax return is ready for you, you have to sign up for them to be able to contact you in that way. So outside of you doing those things to have them contact you in that way, anything you get, any email you get to your spam folder that says IRS, you're going to be arrested, ignore it, delete it. Do not click on anything. Do not reply. Delete it. If you think that maybe that entity is trying to reach you, all you have to do is give them a call. You initiate that contact. You'll know that it's safe. And you know, what do you have to lose from hanging up a phone call and calling them back, and you know, the worst case scenario, they could say, oh, hey, yeah, we were trying to call you, you hung up on us, and you have a laugh, right? If you know, and the alternative is for someone to steal your information and for them to cause a lot of trouble for you.
Cassandra, can I chime in with a question
Sure.
about this?
Yes.
So is there, what would be sort of your core advice? What I'm hearing is, if you have any question, go to the source. So,
Yes.
But I don't think I could just call up the IRS and say, how are you trying to send me money? Where would you go online, or who would you call to confirm that something, one, we should be suspicious right now because there's a lot of scams in the air. And two, where would you turn to quickly debunk the notion that this is a scam or not?
Right. Usually, if you Google if you have access, and that also requires you to have access to the internet. So if you use the internet, if you have access to the internet and email, you can always check online. People will post about different scams. Sometimes if you look up a phone number, it'll come back as a fraudulent phone number. And you really could call the 800 number for the IRS, and they expect these kind of calls, just like our office would expect a call saying, hey, I just got a call and they said they're from your office, and you know, are you guys looking for me? We know that we have to be kind of aware that those kind of calls might come in, and you simply, you know, look it up in your system. No matter what, you know, I know in my own agency, we can look things up. We can say, yeah, you know, this person's trying to get in touch with you, let me transfer you. They should be able to pull up your information if you go directly to the IRS. If you are not comfortable doing that, call our office, call our 800 number, speak to a consumer frauds rep, and they can walk you through what's coming at you. We get reports of all different kinds of email phishing attempts. You know, this is from the government, or this is, you know, we need a payment right now for this debt, or you're going to be arrested. We're used to these phone calls, and the IRS is too. They will be able to help you.
I would add that your local public library is also used to screening and helping people to figure out these calls. So we also get the question, hey, this came in the mail. Is this legit? And so someone who may not have access to doing the online research can tap us, and we can quickly check to see what's actually going on. But I really zeroed in on your saying, go back to the source. We were talking earlier, and you know, I got a text message that said somebody wants to give me money. Just reply yes. And let me pause.
Right. Because there's just no reason for it, right? So if you get any kind of offer, just take that second to step back and just think about it, right? If you get a text message or an email that you've won the foreign lottery, if you never played the foreign lottery, you didn't win the foreign lottery. You're going to want to delete that email. Nobody is that lucky. I wish some of us were. We're not. There's no foreign lottery. If you get a text message that your coronavirus test results are in, but you never took a coronavirus test, that's a scam attempt. Erase it. Do not answer it. Do not reply. Do not give them any of your time or your information. just take that extra second. So you want to go to the source. If something looks fishy, go to the source. You have nothing to lose from going to the source, from seeking help from your local library. Librarians know everything. I mean, you guys really do. You know, and they can, if they don't know it, they can get to the bottom of it. They know how to do the type of research that I would do, you know, to find out if this scam is starting to circulate. They know exactly what to do. So,
and I'm happy that you can actually go to the source. So we have texts coming in, we have emails coming in that are often fraudulent because they're spoofing email addresses and other things. And then we have the phone calls. I think we mostly have talked, particularly because they target seniors, the phone call scams where, you know, someone, the IRS, you know, scam where they call and it says IRS on the caller ID, but it's not. Right. Email scams, well, do you want to speak to those?
Sure. Email scams, you know, these are, people are good at what they do, right? If it was my job to sit somewhere all day and try and scam people, you know, I would do my best. I'd work really hard and I'd try and get as much as I could, right? This is their job. So they're working really hard, and we have to work just as hard to be educated, to stay vigilant, to avoid scams. A lot of emails are either going to be spam or fraudulent. There are put up spam filters. Don't sign up for a whole bunch of email lists that you can do to cut down on the volume of email you get, but never click on something in an email until you know exactly where that is from. And sometimes, you know, you might get an email that says, here's your Amazon coupon, you know, click here, and it takes you to a website. It looks just like Amazon. You're shopping, you find what you want, you use your coupon, you put in your credit card information, you're waiting for your order, and it never comes because you were at amazon.info instead of amazon.com. You know, they change just a little something, or Amazon and the O is a 0. You know, so look really carefully at your browser when you're shopping, when you're looking through emails. You know the companies you've signed up to be on email lists for, and anything outside of that, don't engage. You don't have anything to lose by not engaging with companies that are sending emails.
Ever vigilant. One of the questions that came in was, how about phones? So that IRS scam, for example, if it's a number, so I might have picked up for the IRS, but if it's a number that I don't recognize, what's better, to just pick it up and hang up, or not pick it up at all and let it go to voicemail?
We say don't pick it up at all. If you don't know the number, don't pick it up at all. And I know that is so hard to do. You know, when I was growing up and the phone rang, me and my brother would fight each other down the hallway to see who could answer it first. The phone ringing was always good news. You know, it's always something, you know, somebody's calling you, it's exciting. Those days are over. You know, people will, they have, like Elena said, they have spoofing software where it's nothing personal. It has nothing to do with you as a person. They have a software program that will dial every number in sequence, 3518, 3519, you know, and so on and so on. And all they need is for someone to pick up that phone. And if someone picks up that phone, the computer will mark it as a live line, and you'll go on to another round of calls. And then a different number, maybe similar, maybe it's from your area code, maybe it's, you know, from a company that you maybe have heard of before. It's not really from them. This is a computer again calling you because you picked up that first phone call. Now they've got you on a second round. You pick up again, nobody's there, you hang up. A little while later, you get a phone call from another number, and this time there's a person there. And they're ready to engage, and they're ready to talk to you about a bill you owe, or you know, the warrant that's out for your arrest, or the great deal they're going to give you. They just need you to buy them $50 worth of Amazon gift cards first. You know, it's always that distracting hook, right? They're once they get you on the phone, they've got you right where they want you, right? Because you've picked up the phone all those other times, and you're getting, you know, as a person, you're getting a little bit annoyed, like, I wonder what's going on. And then finally it's a person, and then you might be kind of caught off guard. You might be ready to engage because, geez, I've been getting all these weird phone calls all day. You have to be so careful. And to avoid all of that, just don't answer the phone. If it is someone who needs to talk to you, they will leave you a message. Make sure that your voicemail is clear and accepting messages. Make sure that people who need to get in touch with you, family and doctors and friends, make sure that they know that you don't answer the phone for just anybody. And if they're calling from a block number or a different number, leave you a message and you'll get back to them.
So text, email, phone, ever vigilant. And just to get you back to COVID-19, people knocking on your door saying we're here to do COVID-19 testing. Do you want to talk about that?
Yes, that is a scam. No, never, 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 never. And just letting strangers in your space right now. We're not supposed to be doing that, right? So stranger knocking on your door, no, you're not going to want that at all. They are certainly not bringing you a COVID-19 test, even though we're doing better in New York at availability of this testing. Nobody is walking around with a pocket full of test kits, ready to go door to door. No matter what they tell you, do not take that test.
Thank you. All right, we dried up on questions for a sec.
Sure. Right. So, price gouging. This is, we have, I think it's something like 5,000, upwards of 5,000 letters that we have sent out to companies and bodegas and big box stores of people selling the goods and the products that we need at ridiculous markups. 12-pack of toilet paper for $60, diapers for $100, just ridiculous pricing. And sometimes it's just a little bit, maybe hand sanitizer is, $5 or $6 more than it was a couple of weeks ago. So all you need to do is, look up, give us a call. The number is there, the 1-800 number, 771-7755. And you can go online. We have a complaint form for price gouging. And not all increases in prices are price gouging, right? So sometimes, like we're seeing with the issues with the food supplies right now because of COVID, disruptions in the dairy chain and the meat chain and the meat processing plants. All of those we can expect will result in higher prices, but at a certain point, it becomes price gouging. And that's illegal, and our office has the ability and the power to go after those types of acts. So definitely, again, you have nothing to lose by reaching out to our office or filling out a price gouging complaint form if you think that's what you're seeing. We're happy to take a look and to tell you if it's not. So I would rather have you err on the side of caution and maybe make an extra phone call than see anyone get scammed or be taken advantage of, especially now. Charitable giving, right? There are a lot of people and places doing a lot of really, really good work, really important work, really valuable work, really vital work, right? But, you want to check on the organization, check them out, especially when it's newly formed organizations. And that is not to say that any new organization is not deserving or in need or anything like that. Just check it out. And this is the same advice that we would give, even if it's not a pandemic, you're always going to want to check out the organization. You can ask how your donation will be used. If you do not want your money to be used for a fundraising company to raise money for, this organization, then you can send a check directly to the organization. You can cut out that middleman. Be careful when you are giving through social media, email, text. That's kind of a nationwide way to give at the moment, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. It's convenient. It is, helpful to those in need. But again, check it out. Make sure that precautions are in place. You wouldn't just, hand over money to just anybody. Just check it out. And giving cash, especially if it's, kind of a large sum, or, aside from, the kids that are tagging for their baseball team outside of the grocery store, that kind of thing, and you throw a buck in there or some change or whatever. Aside from that, you're really not going to want to give your donations in cash, because you won't get the tax write-off, first of all, and there's no record of it. You want to be able to pull those records if it ever becomes necessary to do so. And if you come across any organization that you think is lying about what they do, or they're conducting some kind of scam, if they're scamming people out of money, giving kind of a false narrative, give us a call. We have an entire email address, a whole email box, charities.complaints@ag.ny.gov, that we will take those complaints. And then, there's just actually one last thing I want to cover before I'll take more questions. And that is investment scams, right? So the stock market has been, really crazy lately. There might be the itch to buy or sell, or make investments that you wouldn't normally make, or things of that nature. Be careful. It is your money. There is no need to be kind of reactionary. Be careful. Be aware of what you're doing, of where your money's going, and don't fall victim to something that might seem too good to be true, because if it seems too good to be true, it always is. And another just kind of form of this, not really, this isn't just limited to kind of, buying and selling stocks. This could be, people are working at home, right? People have lost their jobs, they're working at home now. And, you want to sell, the newest makeup trend, or the newest shake, or press-on nails, or some, something like this. And you end up investing a lot of money into products that you can then not sell, like a pyramid scheme type of thing. Be careful with those types of operations. That is not to say that if you believe in a product, you shouldn't, do what you'd like to do. Just be very careful. Don't be pressured into anything. Always take that extra second to just step back and think about something before you do it, and you can really save yourself a lot of trouble. And then I will take questions if there are more questions, and to contact me directly, my information is there. My direct number is there. If you don't want to file a complaint, if you don't want to, call the office, go ahead and give me a call. I will work, you can tell me what the scam you think is going on, or if you see something fishy and you just kind of want to talk it out without getting too formal, give me a call. I'm happy to talk those out with anybody.
And there is the Do Not Call Registry, theoretically, that helps out, although that seems to have not a consistent effect. Who runs the Do Not Call Registry? Is that a government action, or is it a private action?
Yes, so it's the FCC that runs the Do Not Call list. And the Do Not Call list works, and I know that's going to be a shocking statement, right? The do not call list works for legitimate companies that follow the rules. Criminals are not going to care about a do not call list. You know, if somebody knocks on your door and says, I'm here to rob you, you're not going to say, well, wait a second, I'm on the do not rob list, so don't call me. So the people who don't care about the law, who don't care about regulations, they're going to keep calling at whatever time they want, and they're going to say and do whatever they want because they just don't care. But to cut down on, you know, robocalls in general, the do not call list does work.
Is there anything that you would advise? I know there are a lot of for-profit or other, you know, solutions to screen calls.
Yeah, you know, there are a number of programs that are good. You know, I don't endorse any, but you know, No Mo Robo seems to work. There are, you know, a lot of cell phone companies have been trying to be really vigilant about cutting down on robocalls, where it'll only ring a couple of times and then it'll go, you know, it'll go to voicemail or it'll stop ringing. And that's just kind of automatic,
Yeah.
you know, stops that your cell phone company will kind of put
My
in
favorite
place.
is to have a call come in on caller ID and it says spam ? And it goes on. If it's spam, don't send it through. But
Right.
does the same thing apply for text messages? Because there seems to be an overabundance of those of late.
Yeah. And there is a it's, I want to say it's 7726, but let me get back to you on that. There is you can forward spam text messages to it's a 4 or 5 digit code. I'll get it for you.
Terrific.
And yeah, you just forward them there, but don't, you know, and then delete them. Don't engage, don't click on anything. And don't be worried if, you know, they don't text you back or call you back and say, hey, thanks, you know, maybe, I don't know who runs it. It's not, you know, it's not the state, it's not our office. I believe it's the FCC. They're tracking everything, right? So, you know, they might not be able to help you in that instant and say, hey, we just went and arrested this guy that texted you. You know, that's probably not going to happen. But for information gathering and just data tracing purposes, if you're reporting things like that, that can be really helpful. If we don't know, you know, everybody who's texting you and everybody who's, you know, running any type of email scam at any given time, you know, we need everyone to be our eyes and ears on the ground.
So that's really helpful to know that that we can actually, an action we can take is to make sure that information gets to you. How about for mail? Because one thing we haven't talked about is the interesting amount of crud print mail, print advertisements and solicitations that are coming in. For a while there, it slowed down a little bit, but now it's just jacking right back up. What do we do with those?
Yeah, same thing. You are going to want to throw them away. Unless there is something you're looking for, you know, if you get that shiny flyer that your car warranty's up and you don't even have a car, or, you know, your car is under warranty for the next however many years or whatever it is, ignore it. There's nobody's going to come and say, hey, you threw away that mail. Don't feel bad about throwing those things away and getting rid of them. Anything that has your personal information on it, your name, birth date, even just your name and address, shred it, or cut it up, rip it up, save it for when AARP and sometimes libraries will have shredding events. You know, you can save that junk mail kind of, you know, in a bag at your house, and, you know, for the next shredding event, and get rid of it that way. But don't engage with any of those things. You know, there are, especially like the sweepstakes ones. If you fill out, you know, you fill out a little card, it's postage paid, you just stick it back in the mail. When you mail that back in, you are put on a lead list. So they know that this person at that address went through the trouble of sending this back in. They're interested in something. I don't know what it is yet, but they're going to find out. You go on that lead list. I mean, those lists can cause people to literally be killed. I mean, those go for some thousands of dollars, just a list of names that could potentially fall victim to fraud. It's
back to your ever vigilant. We have a question that's just come in that someone was asking about how prices have popped up on everything from shipping to the actual products, particularly on Amazon. But I'm not sure that that's anything. Well, you guys are looking at price gouging, but how should we be looking at that?
Yeah, you know, some of these increases are just unavoidable, right?
Right.
You know, we can allow for, you know, things are hard, everybody's having a hard time. There are certain things that are tolerable and that are explainable. But if you think they're not, fill out our price gouging form. Send it to us. Shoot us a price gouging email, and just say, hey, you know, this is what I saw. This seems strange. FYI. You know, we're never gonna penalize you for giving us that information. We're always gonna be thankful, and we're gonna look into it. Sometimes, you know, high prices are just, you know, the kind of what we have to deal with right now under these circumstances when supply chains are cut off and you know, everybody needs everything shipped. But if you feel that it does not look normal, there's nothing to lose by telling us about it. So I mean, even if you want to send the email right to me instead of going to our price gouging, I'll let you know, and I'll at least get it to the right people.
Thank you. I think I moved, and my big takeaway is that you are asking the public to be your eyes and ears on this, because you guys can't really take action unless you have the body of evidence, and you need to prioritize where to focus your efforts because of the sort of the scope and scale of what's actually taking place. When we titled this "Scammers Follow the Headlines," it was really, you know, kind of a pointer to that. People are concerned about their finances, so there are free money scams. People are concerned about their health and safety, so there are scams related to that. There will always be people who are willing to take advantage of those situations. I want to share, if I can, a resource that we have. So I'm going to take over the screen for a sec, and then I'll have you put your contact information back up. So you guys, do you see my screen here for the coronavirus COVID-19, not 15, resources? We have here, so the library system has been curating links for information in Westchester County and statewide, but we also have a scam alert over here, and we, you know, connect to the New York State Attorney General site. One of the things that we've also been flagging are the Medicare scams. Even those are, you know, are popping up related to this. And if you'd like to say anything about that, but I'll also put the information that you're talking about, places where we could text if we see, you know, where we can send to if we see text scams, and a lot of the other, I'll put your slide presentation up here so that it has all those different contacts and cautions. But if you see anything here that, and you know, anyone that you think is, you know, is missing, I'm happy to add it. And Cassandra, thank you for adding to this. Can you say anything about Medicare scams?
You know, the best place to report those would be directly to Medicare. But if you think something might look like fraud, we have a Medicaid fraud control unit, and they will also handle Medicare fraud scams. It might not ultimately be their issue, but it doesn't hurt to run it by them.
So that's the Senior Medicare Patrol, I think, has that contact with you guys, but they're listing what they're seeing, like people going door to door to offer free coronavirus testing and supplies, folks asking for your personal information. So there are a lot of scams going on, and there are a lot of organizations, including libraries and the New York State Attorney General's office, that are trying their best to keep everybody aware. Let me stop the sharing, and thank you so much, Cassandra. Do I see any more questions coming in? Just want to take one last look at Q&A. You've answered everything, and given us, I think, all a call to action. to
Great. Yes.
keep you informed and to be vigilant. No matter how those communications are coming in, we have to sort of pause to ask, who is this and why?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. You have so much to lose, if you do the wrong thing. But just taking that extra second, thinking about it, usually the answer will come right to you, right? Of course, my COVID results aren't in. I didn't take a COVID test. You know what I mean? So just be smart, be aware, and be vigilant, and pay attention to some extent, of what you're seeing in the news, and kind of, if you're seeing reports of scams in the news, pay attention, because they're going to try it all over. They're not just going to stick to one geographic area. They're going to try it wherever it's going to work.
Thank you again, Cassandra. The full recording from today's program will be posted to the seniorlawday.info website. You can ask follow-up questions of Cassandra and any of our collaborative members by going to that site. Cassandra, do you have your information? Maybe put that back up, because you've got your phone number and your email address. Be careful, we may all we may all spam you with information.
That's okay. That's okay.
But I feel like we now have an inside contact, and I'm very glad that you are focused on these issues.
Great. Yes, please. Thank you. And thank you so much for having me. And thank you for doing these and operating under these extraordinary circumstances. This is so important.
We're turning it into an opportunity to connect broadly and effectively. So thank you again.
Of course. Thank you so much.
Be well, everyone.